Welcome back to Wealth Mavericks, the podcast where we help doctors unlock the secrets to building generational wealth. And today we're talking about offshore account. Does it align with your purpose? So if you're wondering if you should open a Swiss bank account or an offshore account, perhaps it's time to have a conversation with us first and just make sure that it's a strategy that's appropriate for you.
Either way, it's whose narrative are we talking about? But when we're talking about our dollars going offshore, we're giving control over that.
All right, so we're going to delve into some fun territory, I think, today. We hear comments all the time from people like, give me everything. I want the offshore accounts, and I want the this, and I want the that. And it's always hilarious to me because I'm like, you don't even know what you're asking. I don't even know what you're asking. So today I do want to discuss this a little bit. I've got a myriad of questions. And Bob, I know you have some experience in this world and have some really good opinions about this. As always, what we talk about on this channel is just information. This is not us giving you advice specifically. We would love to give you advice, but you got to reach out to us so that we can help you in that way. So let's talk about offshore accounts. Aaron, I know you have a question about this right off the bat because we were just talking.
I know. I was saying, can I ask this? Like, is this the silliest question? But like, why do people want to put their money in offshore accounts? Is it to pay zero taxes here in the US?
Yes.
Okay.
Done. That's it. So that's
Done.
all you
Click
need to
the link
do.
below. Subscribe. Done.
I feel like that's a common thing though, Aaron, before you answer. I think people feel like it's like a James Bond movie and it's like, oh, I'm going to open up this Swiss bank account and then no one's going to have any insight into it. I'm going to put all my money there and no one's going to know. I think that's maybe the theory around this. People watched movies or TV shows, so they think, oh, this is how I can do this. But I know that there is like real and tangible reasons why people do this. So I'd love to hear your perspective, Bob.
Yeah. So the answer to the question, Aaron, is yes. The explanation to the answer, yes, is that I think the government knows that too, right? I mean, I'm just guessing, right? I don't know. Maybe it's that one doctor's knowledge with that one other person who brought this up, and it is dark web conversation, right? Come on. When it comes to taxes, you shouldn't be doing anything to not try to pay taxes, right? Obviously, we want to pay our fair share. That's what we're all saying. We don't want to be paying taxes where we really shouldn't be, but what's that look like? I don't know what that looks like. So give me everything, whatever everything is. Fruit Loops, go buy me Fruit Loops. Can I save money on taxes buying Fruit Loops? I mean, it's a desperation of lack of knowledge. But at the same time, the opposite is true. Is with lack of knowledge, you want everything, creates a lot of fear because there is no knowledge. And creates a lot of risk because there's lack of knowledge as well. So when we're talking about offshore, we're talking about non-U.S. soil, non-U.S. laws and regulations. Yeah, that's what I want. Do you? You lose control. Well, no, the attorney said I could do this. You lose control. It's no longer your money. That's the point of offshore, is that if it's in your control, it is taxable assets and income to the government. The government still taxes patriots that are in other countries. Okay? So, and I'm not talking about patriots as a football team.
Them too, but
could be, right? They could be in other countries. That's important. Are you willing to give control of your hard-earned dollars, savings, asset, whatever amount, to go away? That's the question. If the answer is yes, then just put the money in the stock market, darn it.
Is that the goal? I mean, is that literally the process, Bob, that someone takes? Is they're gonna, and I'll just use Swiss bank account because that's like that's the movie term, right?
That's
So
the movie.
they open up an account, a bank account in that country, and because they're not a citizen of that country, that's where the loss of control happens. It's like I'm not even a citizen of your country. They could in theory seize all of that asset if they wanted to.
Or they're citizens of that country. How many times do we hear about the U.S. seizing the assets of another country?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? That's where allies come in. That's where treaties come in. Well, how many times have you heard Russia's assets got seized? Iran. Who's doing that? Who's controlling that? Well, it's our beef with them. How are their assets getting frozen? That's the whole point of the de-dollarization conversation, is that we're weaponizing currency, right? To not allow bad actors to be bad actors, or who we deem as bad actors, right? Either way, it's whose narrative are we talking about? But when we're talking about our dollars going offshore, we're giving control over that. So if we're told, hey, this is a great country, they're an ally of the U.S., okay, then what's the benefit of you're trying to do, right? So the majority, we do not advocate this. This is not an advocation of what we would recommend. We like our members having some sort of control or structure of control, even if it's using entities and trusts. There are actually legal structures that we can use on U.S. soil that can minimize risk and asset protection. Right? So it's one thing we always say is that the IRS code is a legal system. They're telling you what you can do, not what you can't do. They're telling you what you can do. Right? It's like the rules in football, the rules in basketball. They're telling you what you can do. You don't do that, then you're breaking the rule, and then there's a foul. There's a penalty. There's a flag. You can't do that. Right? Now, with your hard-earned dollars in life and taxes, the consequences could be more than just a yellow flag or a personal foul and 2 free throws.
Right.
10 years in prison and penalties of millions of dollars, right? I mean, I don't know. Or you just lose all your money, right? I'm not trying to create fear. I'm just trying to create lack of information and knowledge. You don't necessarily know what you want. Let's make it a little bit simpler. We have this same conversation when it comes to charitable giving and charitable plans. In order to get a large tax benefit from some of the charitable structures out there, you're giving up a lot of control of that particular asset to that charity. That's why you get a tax benefit. Now, there are structures, we can do a whole episode on charitable planning and all that kind of stuff, but there are structures that kind of meet in the middle. Where you can give up control for a period of time, or you have control for a period of time, and then you give it up later on, and what happens, all that kind of stuff, then you can meet in the middle. So I think if you're going down that offshore strategy, A, have you utilized all the onshore strategies? And B, are you willing to have the consequences, the negative consequences of offshore? They may outweigh the beneficial consequences of offshore. Right. So you really do have to trust and know the counsel and the people and the professionals you're hiring in that environment. And you're not going to get any guarantees. But you got to be comfortable with that before you say yes and you actually sign that agreement and contract.
Well, and what I'm hearing from you, Bob, is, and we work with members who make anywhere from $500,000 a year to, tens of millions of dollars a year. It's not part of our strategy for that. It likely doesn't apply to you, Doc. I understand it. It's sexy and it's cool and all that kind of stuff. And maybe you've heard Bob say this many times. What's the purpose of that? So maybe you have a house in Switzerland and you should have a Swiss bank account in that case. Does it align with your purpose? So if you're wondering if you should open a Swiss bank account or an offshore account, perhaps it's time to have a conversation with us first and just make sure that it's a strategy that's appropriate for you.
That was good.
Awesome. Well, fun stuff. Thanks for listening as always. It costs you nothing to go down and click that like button. Give us a like if you like this episode or if you appreciate our content. Subscribe to the channel so you're always notified when new episodes come out. Hit that little bell for notifications and share this with your friends. If you find value from the content that we're producing, we're always jazzed by getting comments or questions from you so we can keep creating content that's important to you. So we appreciate you listening and stopping by and being here. And until next time, go be a wealth map.